I'm getting ready to change out some lights here on my boat. I have, originally this boat had fluorescent lights, so the old-fashioned fluorescent tube lights. And I've already replaced a few of them with LED lights. And so there's 4 sets of fluorescent lights in the boat here. And so I got one left to replace. Actually, I've got 2 lights now to install. 2 of them I did already, and they're in the galley. One's in the galley, one's over the dinette. So those are replaced. Now I have 2 in the main cabin, which is right over my head. I have one, and then there's one on the other side. So I removed the fluorescent lights except for one, and it's the one's right over my head, and the bulbs are out, and the diffuser's removed. The bulb, I removed the bulbs, so now I'm going to go ahead and replace it with this LED light. So this is for boats. This is a marine grade light, and it's LED, and this top comes off, and this just has 2 screw holes, and it has a switch here. It's a 3-way switch. So the thing about these LEDs is they're bright white light, and they're also red. So you got a choice. So it's either in the middle, the switch is in the middle, that's off. You go to one side, it'd be bright white. You go to the other side, and it will be red light. And the reason for red light, and you'll see on boats and in movies, you'll see movies where someone will be like in a pilot house of a boat, and the light will be all red. And the reason for that is so your eyes don't have to adjust when you look out the windows into the dark at night. So it keeps your pupils dilated. The red light does. If you have white light, your pupils are going to close down. Then when you look out the window, you have to look out quick, see something. It takes a minute or so for your eyes to adjust to the darkness. So that's the reason for the red light. And it's interesting. You'll see that in movies and submarine movies, which is kind of weird because I guess in a submarine, you'll be looking around. It'll be dark in a lot of areas. So you probably need it. Red light in a submarine. You wouldn't think so, being that you can't really see out of a submarine unless you're looking through a periscope. And if you're looking through a periscope, you're up near the surface. So yeah. So I don't know if that's just Hollywood stuff or what. I've never been on a submarine other than Disneyland, which was one of my favorite rides when I was a kid, by the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to remove the housing to the fluorescent light that's above and replace it with this. So it's just 2 wires and real simple. And I'm going to go ahead and prep these wires right now. So I did have these lights hooked up in the galley, and I really didn't like the style of them. So I got ones that are a little more fancy in the galley. They look like brass. They're simulated brass. They're just plastic, but they look like brass, and they look like traditional lighting that you'd find in yachts. Not real crazy about the light that comes out of them. It's okay. It works all right, I guess. And they're the same. They're white or red, so I can adjust those. But I switched those out in the galley. I had these in the galley. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these ends off a little bit so I can start fresh with them. And so I'm going to just go ahead and get these off. And I need to go get my wire stripper. I got these pretty cool little wire strippers here. They come in handy if you're stripping a lot of wire. These things come in real handy. So, at any rate, the wire just goes in here. And then I kind of like to use my finger and kind of push this part down. This is the part that strips the wire, and it pivots a little bit, but They tend to kind of over time get a little loose and they don't do a good job. So I'm gonna go ahead, and it's hard for me to see because this bright light is in my eyes, but I'm gonna go ahead and strip this wire. So I don't want to strip it too long, but that's all it takes. I think that looks pretty good. And I'm going to strip a little bit more off. There we go. Okay, so there's that, and that's one. I'm going to go ahead and just twist it so it doesn't fray out on me. And I'm going to do the other one. That's it. And then I'll just twist this one. Now I'm going to try some connectors here. Anyway, what this is it's shrink tube, so that's clear shrink tube. And then the blue part, I believe, well, just shows what size it is. It's color coded for the size, but also I think maybe that blue color there is also kind of like a glue, so it makes it watertight. So what you do is you put both ends of the wires in, one on one side, one on the other, and in the middle is a ring of solder, and it's a hollow tube. And so you put both pieces in, so the strip parts of the wire are over each other inside the center where the solder is. And then you heat the tube up, and probably best to heat the ends first so it'll clamp down on the wires and hold it. And then after you do that, then heat the center, which melts the solder. And so it'll actually solder the two wires together and also make, I believe, a watertight seal on the shrink tube, or with the shrink tube. And though it doesn't, because it's on the ceiling, it really doesn't need to be watertight. I know I'm on a boat. The only thing I'd get up there as far as water would be condensation. But if I have water up on my ceiling of my boat, I got other things to worry about than light connectors. So yeah, that would be a really bad thing. So at any rate, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the fluorescent light fixture off the ceiling and then replace it with this. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I just shut the power off, the 12 volt power. So even though it's 12 volts and it really can't really shock you, I built a lithium iron phosphate battery bank, and they can discharge 1800 amps. And so if you short out a wire, it can burn you. So you want to be careful. And so especially if you're using lithium batteries. So I went ahead and shut the system down, have a battery switch. It totally disconnects the battery from the panel, the electrical panel. And then I also made sure the breaker switch was off on the panel. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and remove this fixture here. And it's only 2 screws, so it should be pretty easy. So anyway, this is the fixture, and it had 2 fluorescent bulbs in here, and then it also had a light diffuser cover that went over the top. And I did kind of like the lighting that it put off in here. Fluorescent lights they're shifted to green, so they're kind of a green color. And but it was kind of a nice lighting in here. I did kind of like them, but and they're 12 volts, so it's a 12 volt system. But the problem is that these damn bulbs burn out pretty quick, and even though they're pretty efficient, they're nowhere near as efficient as LED lights. And so Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of them. Okay. I'm gonna pull this out so it's got connectors in here. And I don't think I could probably just cut them off. Oh, the wiring on this boat is something else, I'll tell you what. Okay, there we go. Just untwist these little connectors here, these little twisty connectors, which I don't like these things. I never trust them. Okay, so that's it. Move those. Here's the fixture, and it's real lightweight. This boat was made in Taiwan, in Taipei, and the wiring is just really bizarre as far as the color coding goes. Yeah, so this is 2 white wires with a blue stripe. They're both the same. So it's like, can you tell which is positive? Well, they put a little, somebody did, put a little piece of red tape around one side, which I'm assuming is positive. I'm going to trust that. I got a multimeter. I can get my multimeter out and test it, but I don't think I need to. I'm just going to go ahead and what will happen is if I get it backwards, it won't, the light won't work, but I'm confident that the red is positive. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these and restrip them. The wire looks good. That's one thing about this, the wiring in this boat, as old as it is, I inspected the wiring, and the wiring looks really good. Someday I may rewire the whole boat, but I think it's fine for now. The copper's nice and shiny still, so it's been up there since 1975. So it's not even tarnished at all. It's just really nice and shiny. And the insulation on the wiring is also really good quality. It's still soft. It's not brittle. It's not cracking anywhere. I couldn't find any cracks anywhere in any of the wiring that I inspected on the boat. So that's good. And this is bigger gauge wire than the lights themselves, so okay. Good. Those wire strippers work really good. Just really nice. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is this is going to be kind of the hard part. So I may need to use some tape or something to hold this up while I solder this wire together. Okay. So I have this butane soldering iron, and it's really cool. It also is a torch. So I'll see if I can use the torch. I hope I have enough butane in here to do this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go dig through my dock box to find the canister of butane to refill this. When I went to get butane, it's kind of hard to find in stores these days. So I had to go to the smoke shop, and all they had was these huge canisters of butane. They're I mean, I have enough butane to last me the rest of my life. I think I'm going to get some duct tape and tape the light up. Well, so there's a piece of teak wood that kind of covers the wiring, and I'm going to want to use this because it's going to hide the wiring going into the light. And so I'm going to have to put that back up when I get this set in there, but I'll wait for that. So now I'm going to go ahead and tape this light up with some duct tape or something just to hold it. Now, I tried these connectors out once before and I had a problem with them, but I think there's a trick to it. I think I figured it out. And the trick is you want to heat the ends first to hold the wire and then heat the middle last where the solder is to melt the solder. So now, moment of truth, let's see if I can get this started. And there it goes. Now, hopefully I won't melt anything. That's one thing you want to be careful. Now, there it goes. So I'm going to do the ends first. This wire moved on me a little bit. I'm going to have to be real careful with this torch. Oh, don't move on me, don't move on me. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to melt the solder in the center. Just going to let that cool. I'm holding it straight so it doesn't end up all bent while it cools off. So it looks like it worked. I'll find out in a minute. Once I solder the other one, I'll turn it on and see if it works. So, okay, so that's that one. Now I got to do the other side. Now the problem I had before, and it works best if you solder or you heat the ends of the connector first, so it shrinks over the wire, and then heat the center where the solder is last. Now the thing is, when you're working with a torch or you do anything with fire or heat, you want to be careful you don't like burn anything around the area where you're working. Okay, that looks good. I can see it melted. Okay, now the moment of truth. I'm going to go turn my battery on and turn the breaker on, and we'll turn the light switch on and see if it works. Then it's just a matter of mounting it with 2 screws and it's done. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see what happens here. So here we go. And there it is. There's the red light. It's working. And so 4 LEDs light up red. Ooh. And 6 LEDs light up white. And so that's it. It's connected. Now all I have to do is go ahead and just put it screwed into where it belongs. So this is a little piece of teak. It's like a teak tube that's been cut in half, and it just hides the wire. Nothing drives me crazier than something that's a little crooked, even if it's just slightly crooked. It drives me nuts, especially if it's something I did. If it's something somebody else did and it's a little crooked, it don't bother me. But if it's something I do and it ain't perfectly straight and not, if it's perfectly straight, then it's okay. I don't know why I'm like that, but I am. It must be all of the 4 years of studying drafting in high school. So what I'm going to do to make this kind of easy, instead of using a drill, because I don't want to drill a hole all the way through. Accidentally drill a hole all the way through the roof, especially since I spent 5 years fiberglassing this entire cabin top and sides. So I'm going to use this awl to just poke a little hole to get the screw started. So it's just like a little ice pick. It's pointy on the end. Now, here's another trick. If this was a Phillips head, it would be easier, but it's not. It's a slotted head. And so this is what I do. I'm a technician by trade, and I work on coffee, commercial coffee brewing equipment. And so sometimes I'll have a problem trying to get a screw into a special area that I can't get my fingers in there to hold it. And so what I do is I just take a piece of tape and I'll tape the screw to the end of the screwdriver to hold it in place. So that's what I'm going to do here. So what I do is I take the screw and the screwdriver and I just put it on the end of put the screwdriver in the slot of the screw and then hold it with my finger like this. And then I just put some tape around it. Like that. So now the screw is on the screwdriver in place, and so now I can just go up and put it in. Then I don't tighten it all the way because the tape might get caught into the screw head. So I just put it in like that, and then turn it and get it started part way. Okay, now the screw's in there. Now I can just pull it out, pull the tape out. Come on, tape, go. All right, there we go. Then I remove the tape off the screwdriver, and the screw's started. And I just screw it in. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with the other screw. Okay, I'm gonna take my awl and make sure it's up tight. Okay, that's good. I like using an awl or some kind of something sharp like this to start wood screws, depending on what it is. If it's something small like this, and this works good, instead of using a drill, because unless you mark the drill bit, or you might drill too far and drill through what you're trying not to, what you're doing. You might drill through what you're drilling all the way through when you didn't mean to. I did that with this table I built. I was drilling these big holes and I had a big drill bit, and my drill is real powerful, and it corkscrewed on me. So I don't know if you ever had that happen with the drill bit. It happens with bigger drill bits more than smaller ones. And usually the drill bit will spin and it'll chip into the wood and go a little at a time, a little at a time. Well, this thing corkscrewed. And I was drilling this table. I was putting a T-shaped leg on one end of this table. And so it's teak. And I was drilling the bottom and I only wanted to go in so far, because I was going to use a wooden dowel as a pin to hold it and glue it in. And I drilled one side and it was fine. It worked great. And then I went to drill the other side. It's like the last one, and the damn thing corkscrewed. The drill bit corkscrewed and just went wham, and it just punched out the other side and it chipped the wood. Luckily, so then at that point I'm thinking, okay, I can't use wooden dowels. Well, actually I did, but it didn't look good. So I found out that the wooden dowels weren't going to be strong enough. I didn't feel confident in them. And so what I did was I went ahead and through bolted them. So I put a big stainless steel washer with a carriage bolt, one of those ones that have a rounded end on it. And so I used that. I put two of them in. So I had to drill the other side all the way through too. And it turned out good. It looks great now. It's really strong. But Sometimes it's easier just to poke a little hole to get a screw started into wood. Now, I haven't had light over this table in a long time, and it's been driving me nuts. I don't like bright lights because I do suffer from migraine headaches, so I've cut down on my lectin intake on my diet, and I don't have migraine headaches hardly at all now. But I'm bright light really irritates me, and when I'm in the boat here, I have real low lighting. So I like that. I prefer that. But when I'm working on something and I need light, I never, because I took the fluorescent bulbs out of here a long time ago. They were all burned out, and I had to get new ones, and I just didn't want to buy new ones if I were going to replace them with LEDs. So I'm going to go ahead and use this light now. This may be temporary. I'm going to see how I like it, and I may change this fixture out to something else. I might want to put something up here that I can adjust the light and point it in certain directions for various reasons, working on projects or just wanting the lighting to be a little different. So we'll see what happens, but let's just take the tape off now and see what we got. Okay, and that looks good. I think that's good enough. Yep, that looks straight. Looks good. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put the cover on. And it just twists on. Okay. And that's it. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see what we got. And I don't think it's going to be real bright. That's the white, center's off, and that's red. So, that's not real bright. I'm going to go ahead and shut the lights off now in here and see how that looks. Wow, that's really dim. That is not very bright at all. Wow. Well, yeah, that's it's going to take a minute for my eyes to adjust because I had the bright studio light right in my eyes here, blinding me. But yeah, I thought that was going to be a lot brighter. But nope. Let's see what the red looks like. Oh, the red looks cool. Yeah, I'll probably end up changing this out because that's not, I mean, for working on projects and stuff, that's not real bright. But I'm going to live with it, so. At any rate, let me turn the lighting back on. So at any rate, yeah, it's not really bright enough. So I'm gonna have to probably switch this out in the future. But so at any rate, if you found this video helpful or entertaining, please like and subscribe.